What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for October 31st, Halloween 2022. Once again, happy Halloween, everyone. This week, we had a roadmap update. 3.18, though, is seemingly like it's going to be perpetually delayed for some time, and we do expect to see some performance improvements. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch every day but Monday, today, so I can get this video out to you guys. And it starts at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/SaltEMike. Now, we have a bit to get through this week, and we're not really going to start out with patch note updates. We're going to start out with roadmap updates because they have a lot to do with the upcoming patch. And for those roadmap updates, we start out with 3.18, and I don't know why they keep digging themselves in this hole of continuing to give dates. For me, the PES situation, the 3.18 situation, is as simple as it's ready when it's a ready kind of thing, very similar to 3.0. This is very foundational, very important, and just get it in a state where we can be testing it consistently in the PTU and getting it stable for a live build. That's all that matters, not some marketing date, not getting it done by the end of the year, none of that stuff. I'm sure that's what they want to do, and that's what they're expressing externally to us, is what they want done internally for them. Obviously, they would want this done before the holiday break. Who wouldn't, right? But the idea of if it's not, it's not, is a very important thing, I think, for the community to understand just how paramount this system is and just how important it is to get it done right the first time and not have to deal with a bunch of problems over the holiday break if we don't need to, right? Simple as that. Then for release view, it was just a bunch of card changes, and they start out with the Grey Cat STV, where they just added it to the cards. That was the vehicle that was shown at CitizenCon. For the cards that are now committed, they started out with new rivers. We saw that. Sand caves, those have nothing in them. If we don't remember, it's just an explorable cave with no missions. Security Post Korea is where the big changes are happening. Essentially, there's going to be a mini jump town there. This is the only place we can clear crime stats above crime stat 2, which crime stat 2 and below are going to be much lessened punishments where we can just pay them off. We can land at different locations, all sorts of stuff like that. And then Orison missions. These are just the bunker missions that we've had at the underground bunkers, but scaled up to the Orison platforms that we had for Siege. Nothing crazy there, so let's move on to video updates. And for the video updates, we start out with an Inside Star Citizen, where they dive deeper into the underground bunkers that we saw at CitizenCon, but not really. They took the lead on the project, who is an artist, but is mostly focused at this time on the scheduling of this thing. So all we really looked at was essentially spreadsheets. It's not that big of a deal, but what we did see was some B-roll that appears to be the underground bunkers in very white box stages, so they can kind of figure some things out and what they want to do, what they want to change, what they like, and what they don't like. Then they moved on to what I felt is the more important thing to share with you guys, the Gen 12 renderer update, which they start out with, what is the point of Gen 12? What is it? Why do you need to care about it?
The end goal of Gen 12, however, is to make use of a new graphics API called Vulkan, which will boost performance even more and also allows us to add new cool features like AI scaling, ray tracing, efficient multi-view rendering for VR, and Linux support, and more.
And all of this is essentially their way of taking this incredibly old engine and bringing it up to the standard that we have today as far as rendering goes. And all those people out there in my comments, and yes, I see you, please fucking stop saying that we need to move to UE5 and things like this. That's essentially what they're doing here, is bringing the engine up to a standard that meets the other engines around. And I'm sure it's just been a rat race, and they've just constantly been doing this over the years, trying to keep up with those engines, but moving over to another one just makes no sense. So please stop. You guys are so annoying. And then they made a pretty big announcement, I believe, for 3.18.
I'm happy to announce and very proud that we're nearly done with porting absolutely everything to Gen 12. And not just the scene object rendering, but also our new path-centric rendering system. As we speak, we're fixing the last few things to get it fully ready for 3.18. This is not a promise, but we're working hard to make it possible. Also keep in mind that this first version of Gen 12 is just a it just works version. We haven't even started optimizing it yet at all, and you can expect huge improvements the following patches up until we can finally start making use of Vulkan.
This is all really great to hear. He does really try to calm the expectations. When I was watching this live on my live stream, you guys can see that on SaltEMike too if you guys want. The act of optimization and optimizing the system is basically like the render thread now has not enough work to do, and they can give it more jobs to do when it runs out of work, essentially. And we see in this video that they basically got a 50% improvement on frame rate, which is really, really cool. So a lot of calming expectations in this video for it may not be this good for you, it may be worse, you know, things like that. But generally, just seeing improvements to performance is just great for Star Citizen. And then we move on to Star Citizen Live, where they started out with the devs that work on the investigation missions, and they go into why they chose investigation missions over anything else.
So when we're building stuff, and because of the scale of this game, we try to build things very modularly, and because we build very modularly, it means there can't be a lot of story injected into it, because injecting story into stuff is very difficult. So this is our way at looking not only at trying to build something modular, but also trying to inject heavy amounts of story in it to really bring the PU to life.
Now, if the goal is to bring the game to life, I'm not sure I'm convinced that these missions will achieve that goal, but then they go into more detail and it starts to make a bit more sense why they chose these missions.
The tech that's there for them already exists, so a lot of this we can push ourselves in MFT, and what that means is we can leave other teams alone to do their stuff without us constantly bugging them for a little bit of this, a little bit of that, because all the fundamentals are there. So it's something that MFT can sort of own and just push all the way, and you know, without bugging anyone, doing anything. And you know, it's also quite a fun thing to do, you know, having an investigation, letting people think, come up with their own answers, potentially talk about it, have different answers. I think it's just a fun game mode.
It sounds like the idea is it's more simple. It's something they could do internally just by themselves, don't really need anything else. And yeah, that's kind of where I am with this, and Elliot really kind of nails that home there. And then the last thing I want to touch on really about this is the Moby-Glass and this team.
Does this mean that everything that you're going to build right now or building along the way is going to have to be redone when the new Moby-Glass comes?
No, so we have to design for both. Currently we have a design for how to sort of awkwardly use our current Moby-Glass to ensure that we can give all the information to the players that they do need to see. However, we also are, you know, involved in the new Moby-Glass and the new contracts manager we're doing. And with that, we can sort of mold it for our needs as well, because obviously the mission team, the contract manager is pretty much used for us. So we can sort of mold it and see how it fits and make sure that we have all the information and styles that we need. So we have considerations for both.
So this isn't a great spot for them to be in right now. They have to use the old one, they have to work on the new one, but the ability for it to mold for their needs, not only for investigation missions, but for other future missions, is really important. So I just wanted to point that one out to you guys. And then at the end, with Max, the other guy in the show, is an incredibly spoilery update mission thing. So little spoiler alert, don't, you know, click past this and get into the other updates section if you guys don't want to see what the prison mission looks like. And essentially, if you go deep enough into the prison caves, Rudo will contact you and you will get a mission from him to find a key, which will be in the escape route. So you go down the escape route, you find the key. When you find it, you get out, you drive to a wreck, and you upload the information there. This clears your crime stat, and you are free. Seems like a nice touch to me, to be honest. Let me know what you guys think about the mission down below. Then, let's get out of the spoilers and move on to those other updates. And we don't have too much here. We had a jump point that was available that was just celebrating the 10 years of Star Citizen, as well as a feature on the Greycat STV. For the sneak peek, this appears to be another look at Ruin Station or a Pyro Station, just based on the lighting, it feels like. And yes, IAE is coming. This is their biggest ship sale of the year. This is something that I think a lot of people believe that will get them over the $100 million in funding in the year 2022, which is kind of crazy. So we now have dates, schedules. Drake is the main sponsor, which means they have something new to sell, and we do kind of see that in the video trailer. Any guesses on what that might be, what kind of ship it might be? Then lastly, we had a Galactipedia update. This was one of the least exciting ones. It was almost all Star System stuff. No real cool things to share with you guys there, and that'll do it for this week. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Just kind of hovering, we're treading water, trying to get to Star Citizen 3.18, just like the Star Citizen devs here. One thing I do want to note, I'm gonna fix this, all the lighting on the TV here for next week. It is really distracting, and I do apologize, but yeah, so here we are. That was the week of Star Citizen. The next week coming up is really, really exciting. ISC is all around the cargo refactor, something we've really wanted to hear a lot about. And I just want to say this. I'm not really in a bad place with Star Citizen. I feel like I'm very much just not excited about the present, but I'm super positive and excited about the future, right? And I think Star Citizen and their content that they're pushing out there is really doing a decent job of keeping that going for me. The things that are coming in the future, they're sharing. I'm excited about those things, but I am fully understanding, and I think they are as well, that the present is the present because it has to be, and this is where we are. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys feel about Star Citizen. Let me know how you guys are feeling about it. Right now, I'm just totally enjoying trying other games, playing other things, and reminding myself why I enjoy video games in the first place, and still remaining quite optimistic and excited about the future of Star Citizen while being totally disappointed by the present. Thanks again for watching, guys. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe for more weeks in review, and make sure you hit the like on the video. It really, really does help. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.